This class has 120 lines of pure boilerplate code. What if I told you you can reduce this file to only 24 lines by adding only one dependency to your project? Interested? Let me introduce you to the project Lombok. Project Lombok is a Java library that has one goal: reduce Java boilerplate by automatically generating common methods and other utilities through annotations at compile time. If we look at the decompiled Lombok user class, we can see that it looks almost the same as the original user class. Okay, but let's start from the beginning. First of all, we're going to generate a new project using this command. Of course, replace the group ID with your group ID and artifact ID with your project name. To use this command, you have to have Maven installed using your favorite package manager. In my case, that's Brew. Or you can just add this dependency to your pom.xml. Of course, if you are using Maven compiler, remember to add this configuration to your Maven compiler plugin. Remember that the versions must match, so it would be good to use some property, but for now let's leave it this way. If you have any problem with importing this dependency, look at the official Maven central repository. You could also check the snippet for the Gradle and other package managers. We also need JUnit added to our dependency list because we are gonna use it to test our application. So just copy this dependency to your pom.xml. Okay, I created here a player class with 3 fields: long ID, a private string nickname, and private int health. Let's now create empty constructor and getters and setters. I'm gonna use a generate command and also just empty constructor. I already prepared the test player class where we just set up the global player instance. We set the ID to 1, and nickname to test player, and health to 100. This all is of course a trivial test that you wouldn't see in your normal application, but we were gonna need it to test the Lombok. For now, everything works fine. But what happens if we delete the getters and setters from player? We will see that the tests don't even compile. Actually, I should have run them before to see that everything works, but they are trivial. We know they are gonna work. So we can fix this by adding 2 annotations to our class. First, getter, and second, setter. Okay, and we can see that everything works fine again. By adding getter and setter on top of the class, we generate getters and setters for all of the fields. But maybe I want to only provide getter for nickname and ID and getter and setter for health. So let's delete this. And now we're gonna just provide getter here, getter also here and here. But here we are also gonna provide setter. Okay, let's look at the player test class. If we run the test now, we'll see that all of them will fail because, first of all, the before each fails because we can't set the ID and nickname for our player. But looking at other test cases, we can see that getters work. If you are following me coding on your machine, you can look after each step to the target compiled class and see how it changes. Unfortunately, in NeoVim sometimes it just doesn't refresh, so I have to do a clean install and quit Vim and open it again, and that's some hassle that I want to put on the video. So after each step, just look at the target class and see how it changes. We also can declare the accessor for our getters and setters. For example, we maybe only want to provide our getter for the nickname to only 2 child classes. For example, we can set access level protected. And of course, NeoVim doesn't import it automatically, so let's do it. Okay. Yes, of course. Okay. We can also, of course, set it to public and private. But I think the protected is the most common use case. Of course, it will also work for the getter, for example. For the setter. For example, public. By the way, I'm working on a full Lombok course, so if you are watching this video after some time after publication and you're interested in that deep dive into Lombok, check the link in the description. Next on the list, we have constructor generation. If no constructor is present, Java will automatically generate empty constructor. But if we, for example, create Args constructor, we can see that our test class won't work because we don't have a constructor for our player. So let's add no args constructor. Yes, and look at our test class. We can see that the constructor is back, but we of course don't have the getters and setters, so we can just add them back. Getter and setter. And now I will do clean install of Maven. Clean install. Yes. And I will quit and open again, just so you can see how the decompiled class looks like. And we can see here that the constructor was generated, empty constructor also was generated, and we have getters and setters. Now that we look to the test class and we run our tests, we can see that everything works. In the beginning of this video, I showed you that to also generate toString, equals and hashcode methods. So let's add the annotations. toString and equals and hashcode. Now we have to again build our project. So Maven clean install. Okay, and let's open our project again. And we can see that the methods were again generated. We can also, for example, exclude fields from toString by adding annotation toString exclude to the field we don't want to print. So for example, I can add toString exclude to the ID because I don't want to expose ID to, for example, users. Or reverse, we can only include fields explicitly. So let's do it by adding only explicit included to true. Now we can delete this and, for example, only provide toString include nickname and toString include have. Okay, let's do Maven clean install. Will it work actually without restarting NeoVim? It shouldn't, but let's check. Yeah, ID is still here, so we have to restart. And we can see that ID is gone, but we only have nickname and have. It is also possible to change the name of the variable in the toString. We can do it by, for example, doing toString include and adding name equals, for example, username. We can also change the order of the variables in the toString, for example, by doing toString include and rank equals -1. By default, all of the variables have rank of 0, and if a member has higher rank, he is printed first, and if he has lower, he is printed second. We already added the equals and hashcode annotation, but we can also use, for example, as I said before, exclude. So we can exclude the health, for example, so equals and hashcode exclude. Because, for example, we don't want to compare players by their health, but only by ID and nickname. And we can also do same as with the string, do only explicit include, like this, only explicit included. And now this is redundant, and we can only do something like this, so equals and hashcode include. But actually, if you are super lazy and don't want to type every time getter, setter, toString, equals and hashcode, we can replace all of these annotations with only one annotation, and that's data annotation. Yeah, I have to import it. And let's delete this for now, so we can test our class. And if I now do Maven clean install and open our project again, let's look at target, and we can see that the player class again has everything generated, but we only use one annotation, the data annotation. Lombok has many amazing features that I didn't cover in this video, so if you are interested in a deep dive into the Lombok, check out the link in the description for my full course. Here is the next video that YouTube thinks that you will find interesting, and till the next time, create some amazing applications.